Hello everyone, myself Dr. Abira Dutta Roy, Assistant Professor of Bankura Zilla Saradamani Mahila Mahavidyapith. As a would be teaching you parts of the course curriculum as part of PhD coursework. I'm sorry for the extreme delay that I have caused because of personal reasons, and I apologize about it from the core of my heart. Now, because your exams are not uh, far away, I would like to uh, briefly state some of the things that are essential in this course. Now, the part that I would be teaching you are basically descriptive statistics and graphical representation, which has to be done in Excel, and some other statistical analysis such as correlation, regression, bivariate and both multivariate, data processing, factor analysis, and data presentation using R software. All these things I'll be teaching you in both Excel and R, and this video particularly emphasizes on the use of Excel. Now, as most of you are in faculty positions, both in schools and colleges, I presume that you have some idea of using Excel. But nevertheless, I would briefly do a recap and then get into the data analysis part. Now, you see, this is the entire uh, layout of what Excel looks like, and this is almost similar to what Word does. So you have a home tab and an insert tab and a page layout. Here you have extra something where formulas are inbuilt here, and then you have data analysis options to use various functions related to data grouping, ungrouping, filter, sort, and all those things. So these are the major basic panel, and here you can review and view different, like change the output product and the view of your work, because there are huge data sets and sometimes you just need to see the first column and the first row, and but because you scroll they get to vanish. So different things of these freeze pane options can be used for your visualization purposes. Now, what here we see is this array of rows and columns, and this particular thing where I'm clicking on like a brick is known as a cell. This is known as columns, and this is known as rows. And when I click on this particular cell, it gives a certain number which we can view from here. So this is shown as F5, and that means this is column F, and row 5, that gives me the cell F5. So these are reference numbers which could help you to understand your data arrays, from which column to which row things have been selected. So this is a very basic layout, and we have 3 sheets mainly. By default, if you open an Excel file, there are 3 sheets available, and you can also rename them by double clicking here and writing whatever exercise, whatever you want, you can write by renaming, or by even you can right click on this and again rename. So we have a data fed here by previously I've incorporated it for your exercises. Now, for analysis of any data, how do we have to feed the data? Yes, first you have to suppose right here, click on that cell, write suppose district name, and then when you see that the name has exceeded, you have to take your cursor here, the cursor which is a broader plus, a thicker or a fatter plus sign. As you move up here, it becomes narrower, and you click on your left click in the mouse and drag it. So this is how you do. Otherwise also what you can do is, this is the undo button, this is the save button, and here you can take your cursor and just double click on it, and the column width increases. So this is how you write the district name, and suppose anything related to it. This is population data. So in persons, whatever you type on the keyboard would come here. Now other things that you can do is write about dates. So writing dates or serial numbers are quite easy, and you just need to drag. Suppose I would like to write 1 2 3, and then select the data and bring the cursor, the corner, the cursor again becomes thinner, plus, and we just pull and the data gets infilled. So in case when we have consecutive days, and like suppose even Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, if we do something of that sort, we can also change. So this is how your data gets infilled. So these are some shortcuts. You can check various YouTube links in order to understand, and later when you will be doing your PhD work, you will definitely will have to learn furthermore in consultation with us and your guide. But these are some basic attributes that I have shown you. Now some of the very basic work that we have to do with the descriptive statistics parts is, I have a data with me in sheet 2. So we'll be using this data for our further analysis. Okay, so we have here this entire data on density and sex ratio of from census 2011 for different districts in West Bengal. So you can feed the data very easily the way I had shown you. So there are a few statistical techniques that I would like to show. Most of the faculty members in the college must be well acquainted with it because it's part of the undergraduate curriculum, but still I'm showing you. One of the thing is to use a sorting method. Like if you have a database which is like huge, humongous, like you have 400 data, some 400 households you have surveyed, and you have 400 rows and huge columns. So in that case, if you want to know which is the lowest value, suppose you have some sort of income, minimum income, and you want to know the range. So in that case, you have to, if you want to know which household or which village has the lowest income in such huge data sets, what you have to do at the end of the data, you have to just click on a cell and then write equal to and then min. So this is min, and you see it returns the smallest number in a set of values. So I double click here, and then if I want to find out the smallest number in this table of density, so I select here and then close the bracket and click on enter. So 468 comes out to be the minimum value. So if I see Purulia, 468 is the density, has the least dense population. So this is how similarly for maximum also, if you want add, click here, you can drag and click it, put the cell values here also. If you want to know the maximum value of a data range, so you write similar formula for it. So you have to write equal to max. So it returns the largest value, and we click on, double click on it, and then select the entire data set and close the bracket and click on enter in your keyboard. So you have the maximum number, which is definitely Kolkata, which has the highest density of population. So this is how you find the mean and maximum value. Now, suppose for example, I have a data set where I write literacy. Right? I have literacy rate here, and I'm just arbitrarily filling some values. Okay, so maybe some just random values I'm just putting. This has no authentication of the data. I'm just feeding random values in order to show you what the next exercise is all about. So this is some sort of literacy percentage, if you can consider. So percentage of literates within the different districts. So here what I'll be using is a count command. Now you can also get this command from function. So here if you go to all in this category, you will get all the functions that are available with Excel, all the different equations that statistically one can possibly do are available here. Otherwise also you can click here, write equal to, and then count. So what we find once we write count, it counts the number of cells in a range that contains number. Now, if you have a huge data set in your research and you are not quite sure where there is some sort of missing data or some sort of data that you are not quite sure about how many variables, how many households you have surveyed, or how many people you have surveyed. So in order to know this, you can use this count option, and this is only applicable for numerical values, not for text values. Any figure A, B, C won't give you the count number. So here we select count, double click on it, select the entire set of values, close the bracket and click on enter in your keyboard. So this is giving me 17. So n is equal to 17. The number of variables, the number of data values within this entire data set are 17. So if you want to manually even count it, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you can very well understand that in certain cases of where you are doing your calculations and you need to omit missing data, at that time you have to use this count function in order to remove the errors of counting cells that do not have any value in it. Now if I want to count the number of missing values, suppose I want you have given your students some kind of survey to do, and they have fed the data in the Excel, and you want to check whether some of your students have missed filling in the data values for a particular variable. So in certain cases, in those cases, how would you understand if there is a huge data set, if there is like census, ward-wise data or village level data, there are huge data sets, or even if you are working with NSSO or NFHS data, they are huge data sets, and mostly SPSS is used for such data set. But yes, if you have a huge data set in Excel, then how to identify missing values? So for that there is also a function. So for that purpose, we'll suppose click on a empty cell, write equal to and then count blank. So I'll double click it and select the entire data set, close the bracket and click on enter. You can see there are two empty cells here and it has returned that value. So if I want to know the number of missing values or missing cells within cells which are not having data in it, I can very well see that 2 is the missing value. So this is how count blank works. Now there is another option known as count A. So what does that do? So we have count A. Now count A, as it states, counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Now let's see what it gives. I'll double click on it and select the same data set, close the bracket and click on enter. This also gives us those cells which has values, right? Now if I apply this formula to this data set, let's see what happens. In such cases, we can either drag like this, drag the formula. See, the formula still stays. When I click on the cell, the formula is visible here. So the formula is seen here. So this is count A. This is showing all the cells that are filled up or has values. And if I drag here, I'll click on this thinner plus sign and drag. Now see, this is the difference. Count A actually gives me the total number of cells that I have selected. So there is not much difference. So in case of fully filled cells, so this is how we can calculate the n, or the number of variables or number of data values within the data set. Now this is one function. Another is count if. Now what does a count if function does? Is equal to, suppose for this particular data set I am using count if. Now there are count if and there are count ifs. So there are two types of option. I will show you both, how to work with both. Now what does count if shows? Count if shows counts the number of cells within a range that meets the given condition. So I will double click it. Now I want to select suppose only those districts, count those districts which has a population density less than 1000. Right? If I want to select that, so what I will do, I'll double click on count if and then select this entire data, then give comma and then inverted comma and I'll write 1000 and then inverted comma, close and then enter. So why is it giving me 0? Because there is none of the districts here have a density of 1000. And what I have to do is again double click on it, click here before 1000 And if I want to know number of districts having greater than 1000 density, so I write density and then greater than I give the symbol and then click enter. So there are 9 districts which have density of population greater than 1000. So we can even see 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So we have got, suppose you have a huge data set and you want to put them in classes, you want to categorize them or you want to segregate them out. I don't want to take those districts which have population or density greater than 1000. So how many districts are there? Or if you are doing a national level work, you want to segregate only those, you want to see whether the literacy value, how many villages or how many districts in India has a literacy below 50%. So in this way, the count if function is very much useful. I'll show you again. What you have to do, you have to click on equal to, write count if and then double click here. Then automatically this first bracket comes and you have to select the data, right? To select the data or the entire data set, then click on comma and suppose I want to see number of districts having less than 1000 population density. So what I'll do here is I'll give an inverted comma open. I will click on less than and then write 1000 and then again close the inverted comma, close the bracket and click on enter. So I have total of 19 districts of which 10 have a population density less than 1000 and per square kilometer and the rest of the 9 districts have a population density more than 1000. So this is how the count if operation or the function works. Now again, if I click on count if, like if I have multiple criteria less than this and greater than this, or I have a particular function, I want to know number of boys or number of girls, so in that cases when I have double criteria, it's suppose less than 20 but more than 40 or less than equal to 20 or more than 50. So in such kind of examples, I have to use count ifs, IFS, count ifs function. So I write equal to count ifs is there. I'll double click here, select the range as usual and then put a comma. I put an inverted comma here. So suppose I want to know certain districts, how many districts are there which have a population density less than 500, okay, and I put the comma close and then again inverted comma close, then I again put a comma, I again select the entire range, again put a comma, inverted comma open and then greater than maybe less than 500 and greater than 200. Let us see what happens. Okay. I don't think we'll be getting anything back. Let's check. Enter. We have just one. So that is, we'll be having less than 500 is less than 500. but greater than 200. So we have 468. So this is Purulia. So here we have a population, just one district that is fulfilling this criteria. Now suppose I change it here to less than 500, fine, less than 500, but so maybe less than 1000, but greater than, let me see, what we can give here, 700, let me see. Okay, so let's enter. So there are 5 districts fulfilling that criteria. So this is how we can use count ifs. Now there are various others. Now I'll come to the crude statistical techniques that we can use. Another function I would like to state to you, using these variables. I'll just delete this because this is arbitrary data. I want to work with it. Now for that you have to select the column, right click on it, go to delete. You can delete the column. For inserting a column, you have to select the column, just the one before which you want to insert. So you select it, click on it, go to insert, and you will get a column here. So you have to always select that column before which you want to insert. Okay. So like this we will get the data, those columns. Now I will show, suppose you want an equation where you are taking out the percentage. So suppose I am writing some sort of percentage, and I have to fix my base value to something. So in that case, what should I do? For taking out the percentage of something, suppose instead of density, if this data had been of population, and I have to take out the percentage of population within each district from contributing from the total population of the entire state. So in that case, what we have to do? So for calculating the total population for the entire state, let me delete these two also. I've already shown you how to do. Similarly, I'll click right click and click on delete. Now for getting a total, there are various ways you can write equal to plus this, but that's a cumbersome process. So just go to Autosum. Here there is an option known as Autosum. There are various other options as well as the various other functions you had already used. There's some shortcuts to it. There are more functions which I had already shown you before. So this this auto sum option is best suited if you want to take out the total after a particular entire column. You select the cell just below the entire column and click on auto sum and then enter. So you have the total. Suppose this is arbitrarily, suppose this is the total population, and I want to calculate the population percentage contribution of population within each district from the total. So in that case, what we generally do? We do is equal to this, suppose for not 24 Parganas, this divided by the total, this, put them in bracket, then use the asterisk mark for multiplication and write 100 and then click on enter. So this will give me the percentage population North 24 Parganas is having in terms of a percentage of the total population. So then for the rest, for calculating the rest, what we generally do is either copy the data from here, select the value, copy it, select the next cell or wherever you want to apply the same formula, go to paste and click on paste formula. So here what we see is it's coming div. That means there is some problem with the formula. Now, in order to cross check, I can see the formula will be visible here. Now, what is the formula showing? It is showing B3 divided by B22. So, this is B3, column B, third row. B3 divided by B22. B22 is blank. B22 doesn't have a value to it. That's why it is entering a null value. In that case, we have to change the formula here itself. We have to fix the cell here so that the entire calculation where this value is fixed remains fixed. So what we do? We click here. What should be fixed here? B21 should be fixed here. That means this value should be fixed. The rest other B2, B3, B4 are all flexible in nature. So what is B3, B21? How can we fix it? What we have to do is put our cursor here, right? We have to put our cursor before B and then put a dollar symbol here. Then again go to cursor, put our cursor before the row value. B is the column value, 21 is the row value. So I have to put a dollar symbol before row value as well. So I have to put dollar B, dollar 21 and then multiply it by 10. So this makes the total population constant and I'll click on enter. Now see, I want to apply the formula to the rest of the other districts. So for that I have to copy. Again I'll put my cursor, select my cursor on a vacant or vacuum cell and then go to paste and paste formula. We get it? Another way to apply formula on the rest of the other cells is just bring your cursor in the right hand down bottom corner and drag it. Now here you can see that the value, if I double click or even if I can see here, the value of $B $21, that is 44674, still remains constant for all the cells. So if I double click on it, it will show that the green box where this should have been constant is constant. So this is how we can fix while applying various formulas. Here we can fix a particular cell value. So this can be used in various other processes or various other applications you want to use it. Now this is one thing. Another few functions before going to the statistical details is you can sort values. Okay, for that you have to click here. You have a sort and filter option here. From smallest to largest you can arrange just by clicking. The entire data set flips based on its value. So if I undo it, you see Kolkata was somewhere here having a sex ratio of 908. Now I select here and go to smallest to largest. Kolkata having a 908 sex ratio comes to the top because it has the smallest value here, and the largest Darjeeling shifts to the bottom. Similarly, if I want to do a largest to smallest, I have to just click here, go to sort, sort largest to smallest. So this way it happens. Another way you can do is select the entire column and then go to smallest to largest. At that point of time, Excel would be prompting you whether you want to expand the selection. Definitely select this. You would love to, you would have to select this option and then click on sort. Otherwise, your entire data would get disarranged because only that particular column will be selected in an ascending or a descending order the way you want it to be, while the rest of the other data would not get arranged accordingly, which will create a major mess. Now let me show you what the mess happens. Now Darjeeling, which has a population of 586 population density and a sex ratio of 970. Now if I select this option and click on sort, the 586 remains in its place, but the value of sex ratio goes here. So that means the entire data set completely gets disarranged. So it's advisable that whenever you're clicking on the column and sorting your data, be sure to use expand the selection and then sort. So Darjeeling, together with its population density and sex ratio, accordingly gets arranged the way you want. The entire data set changes in the way you want. So this is one option. Now why we use filter option? There is another option called filter here. Filter options are mainly again used to sort or find out certain data sets or among huge database. So for that we click on the particular column, go to filter option, and then suppose I want only those that are more than 950. So I tick off select all and then only keep those values which are less than 950. So I thought I only get those values which are having 950. I select the entire data, copy it and paste it in some other Excel sheet if I want. So that is how filter option is used. So if I want to switch it off, this is how we can off it. If I want to select the entire data set for filtering, I just don't need to select the entire column, but click on any part and then go to filter. You see the cursor's drop down arrows are available for each of the data columns. So this is how we use filter. In case you find any problem, please feel free to contact me at any point of time within 10 p.m. I'm always available to help you out if you face any kind of problem. So these are some of the basic functions that are necessary. In due course of time, you will be discovering applicability of various other functions as well. In the next class, I will be discussing on the statistical part of it. These are all mostly related to arranging the data, viewing the data, and some tidbits of function which can be used in the later part. But for descriptive statistics part, I'll be teaching you in the next class. So please feel free to contact me. You have my WhatsApp number. Please feel free to call me or WhatsApp me in case you find any difficulty understanding or practicing with this data set. Thank you.